Portugal looks like a dream for a filmmaker. The ocean, the sun, beautiful streets of Lisbon, soft Atlantic light, good food, kind people, a slower life, everything looks cinematic. And when you look at all of this from the outside, it's easy to think, wow, this is the perfect place to live, create, film and build something new. But then you come down from the clouds and you meet reality, because building a business here is very different story. And I want to say one important thing right away. Building a business is hard in any country, even in your own country, even when you know the language, even when you understand the culture, even when you have friends, contacts, experience and a familiar environment. Business is always different. You have to understand the market, find the real demand, know your niche, count money, understand people and still be strong enough to keep going when things do not work the way you expected. So this video is not about saying that Portugal is a bad country for business. It's not that simple. Portugal is a beautiful country and I'm very grateful to live here. But Portugal also has its own rules, its own rhythm, its own difficulties and its own problems. If you want to build something serious here, you need to understand one thing. The romantic picture can meet reality very quick. This is not a video about immigration. This is not a travel guide. This is a video about building a creative business in a completely new country, in a new market, in a new culture, in a new language, and as it turned out, with a new version of myself. My name is Max Golov. I'm a director of photography and an entrepreneur. And in this episode, I want to talk about why I chose Portugal, why I decided to build a business here instead of only working as a DP, and what I learned when the dream met reality. First of all, Portugal is Europe, and this was important for me. I don't have a European passport, and if I wanted to live and work in Europe, I needed a clear legal path. In 2022, Portugal looked like one of the most open countries for people like me. At that time there were ways to come here, start working, open activity as an independent worker and apply for the residence from inside the country. I knew about this before I moved. From the outside, the plan looked quite simple. Come to Portugal legally, open activity, work, show documents and wait for the residence card. There was also one very important point. At that time, I believed that after 5 years of legal residence, I could apply for Portuguese citizenship. So, in my head, the plan looked like clear. Move, apply, wait, work, build a business and after several years maybe become fully integrated in Europe. But after I moved, rules started to change. And this is one of the hardest parts for immigration. You make a big life decision based on one reality, and then the political situation changes, the law changes, the mood in society changes, and the plan that looked clear becomes much more uncertain. And when you build a business at the same time, all of this becomes part of your normal life. Portugal was also attractive because in 2022 it looked more affordable than many other countries in Western Europe. Not cheap, but more possible, especially compared to London, Paris, Amsterdam, Berlin and other big European cities. But here too, the picture changed very quickly. Housing became much more expensive. Rent became harder, buying property became harder. If I were choosing a country today, in 2026, maybe I would think longer. Maybe I would compare more countries. Maybe I would study the market, the laws and the real cost of life even more carefully. But in 2022, Portugal looked like a very strong choice. And not only because of documents. Portugal is really beautiful. Old architecture, small streets, the ocean, cliffs, light and the feeling of old Europe. Some places are old and rough, but this is a part of the charm. For a person who works with images, this is very powerful. In the first year, I was almost in a constant visual euphoria. I was just looking around and thinking, this place is unbelievable. The south is very different from the north, and the coast feels like completely different from the mountains. For a filmmaker, this is a gift. Portugal also feels safe. The people here are kind and calm. Many Portuguese people I met were honest, open, helpful and ready to support. Another reason why I chose Portugal was the market. Before I moved, I already knew that I wanted to build something in the video industry. I'm a cinematographer. I know cameras, I know lenses. I had an experience renting out filming equipment in my country. So the idea was quite natural. Can I build a film equipment rental business in Portugal? I started to study the market, and from the outside I saw something interesting. There were not many competitors. There were some companies, of course, but not as many as in most big European cities. And I thought, okay, maybe there is a space here, maybe I can build something new. In some ways I was right, there was a space, but later I understood the other side. Competition is smaller because the market is also smaller. For example, recently I was in Paris and spoke with the guy who owns a local rental business. And he told me that only in Paris he has around 40 competitors. 40. In Lisbon I can probably count only like a few direct competitors, maybe 3 or 4. At first this sounds great, but it also says something about the size of the market. If there are 10 times fewer competitors, maybe the market is also 10 times smaller. This is something I didn't fully understand before I moved. From the outside, low competition looks like an opportunity, and it is an opportunity, but it can also mean that the market has a ceiling, and you need to be ready for that. From the very beginning, I understood one thing. I didn't want to be only freelance videographer. I love cinematography, I love cameras, I love light, I love composition, movement, texture, and visual language. I love the whole process of creating an image. But when you move to the new country, being only a DP is not simple. At the beginning, you don't know the local market, the local people, the language, or the community. And in film and video production, community is everything. If you are a new person from another country, you need time. Even if you are talented, experienced, and have a good portfolio. So I understood that if I tried to grow only as a DP, the beginning could be very slow and unstable. And after selling almost everything I had, I didn't want to just spend that money on rent, food, and waiting for the next project. I wanted to invest into something real, something that could grow, something that could give me more control. So the idea of business became very important. My father was an entrepreneur, and I think this influenced me. I always wanted to build something on my own. Not only work from project to project, not only wait for the next client, but create a system. At first, the idea was simple: film gear rental. I already had that experience in my country. I understood the equipment. I understood what filmmakers need. And I thought I could bring this experience to Portugal. After I arrived, I bought some equipment. Then I met Igor. He became not only my business partner, but also one of the closest people in my life here. We combined our resources, our energy, and our ideas, and we started building. In the very beginning, we stored equipment in our apartments. We gave gear for clients from home. Then we rented a small storage area, maybe around 10 square meters. Very simple and very small. But for us, it was our first real base. We kept the equipment there and met clients outside. We also saw that our competitors were not focused only on rental. Many of them were production companies, streaming companies, or even art spaces. Rental was only the part of what they did, so we decided to make this our advantage. We focused on speed, fast replies, and convenient website, clear communication, Instagram, Google Ads, Meta Ads, and a rental process that felt easier and more convenient for clients. I made the website myself, and this helped us grow quite fast in the beginning. But then we understood something else. In Portugal, the market is small, it is tiny, and if you build only one narrow business, you can hit the ceiling quite quickly. We need more than the gear rental. At the same time, we were also shooting our own projects, music videos, YouTube, interviews, podcasts, content for business. At first, many projects came from the Russian-speaking community, and because we already had our own gear, it made sense to use it for our own projects too. Then the next idea appeared. What if we also had a studio? It could be a space for our own projects, a space for other creators to rent, and the place where the gear rental, studio rental, and the production could support each other. We started looking for a place. It took about 6 months. Finally, we found it. Now we have the studio downstairs and the rental upstairs. We have a white cyclorama, a content room with different backgrounds, and a podcast room with the sound treatment. And the gear rental is the same building. These combinations works really well. Someone comes for gear and discovers the studio. Someone rents the studio and also needs the equipment. We have our own projects and use our space and equipment for this need. Clients come, connections appear, new opportunities show up, and everything starts working together. The studio supports the rental supports the studio, and all of it supports our own projects. This business doesn't make us rich yet, but it gives us tools. It gives us a platform, reputation, stability, and a way to grow not only as a business owners, but also as a filmmakers. But of course, reality wasn't as romantic as a plan. Some things were much harder than I expected. The first problem is speed. Portugal is a slow country, and I do not say this as an insult. This is just a different rhythm. If you come from a big, fast technological city, there are many things can be done online. Portugal can be difficult. Here, many processes are slower. Many things are still very traditional. Sometimes you wait, then you wait again, then you send one more document, then someone tells you that you need another document, and then you wait again. This can be hard for your nervous system, especially when you are building a business and every day matters. The second big thing is a language. Yes, many people in Portugal speak English, especially in Lisbon, especially younger people. But Portugal is not like Northern Europe. It's not a place where you can expect person in every situation to speak perfect English with you. If you really want to live here, work here, and understand what is happening around you, you need Portuguese language. And if you also went through immigration process, I'm really curious, how did you learn the language? What was the hardest part for you? I would really appreciate your comments. Before moving, I already had some business experience, but I never had a business of this scale with accounting, contracts, employees, rent, documents, daily client requests, payments, repairs, equipment, marketing, social media, legal question, and a space that has to work every day. When people say, I want to open my business, it often sounds romantic, but the real business looks different. It is hard. It is competitive, it is stressful, it is constant problem solving, and before you see any real profit, you may spend a very long time just feeding the business. For a long time, all the money we made went back into the business. Equipment, rent, renovation, advertisement, salaries, more equipment, and more problems. Now we pay ourselves very small salaries. In many ways, we work more than anyone else and earn less than anyone else. This is that part of entrepreneurship that people do not show very often. Because it doesn't look beautiful, but it is real. When a business is young, you cannot hire a specialist for every task. In the beginning, you are all of them in the same time. You're the marketer, sales manager, the website person, the guy who cleans the studio after clients, the repair guy, the one who answers messages, writes invoices, launches ads, carries heavy stuff, and think about strategy at night. In the morning, you still need to be fresh and friendly to clients. So, business forced me to learn structure, planning, notes, tasks, processes, communication, time management, and honestly, health. Because if you work like this, your body has to survive it. Sleep, food, sports, discipline, and rest become part of the business too. Otherwise, your business can take everything from you. But there is one positive side. Business helped me to survive immigration psychologically. Because I was too busy to completely fall apart. I didn't have much time to sit and think, I miss home, I'm lonely, I don't belong here. Of course, these feels existed, but the business took almost all my attention. It gave me a mission, and sometimes this mission is the best medicine against chaos. The biggest lesson is very simple. Beauty isn't a business plan. This sounds obvious, but many people make this mistake. For creative people, this is an especially important lesson. We often start with aesthetics. We think about how something will look, how it will feel, how beautiful it can be. But business needs to be more than beauty. It needs numbers, demand, market size, competition, costs, margins, speed. systems, people, and timing. Yes, Portugal is beautiful. Our studio, the light, the ocean is beautiful too. But none of this is enough. The second lesson is that talent is not enough. Talent and taste, experience, really important, but they are not enough. Business needs regular work. Not one heroic day, not one big push, but constant, sometimes boring, planned work. Every day, in the right direction. You choose a direction, then you work, test, make mistakes, fix them, and repeat. Again and again. This is not very romantic, but it is the only way I know. The third lesson is patience. I think business gives you a chance to build something much bigger than a normal job. Not always, of course, a job has its own good sides too. A job can be more stable, more calm, more comfy, and sometimes simply smarter for your life. But business gives you a different type of possibility. If it works, it can grow beyond the personal time. It can become a system. It can create more value than one person alone. But this doesn't happen fast. You do not open a business and become rich in 1 month. Usually it doesn't work like that. You need to stay in the game long enough, survive the first hard years, and keep moving when there is no clear reward yet. And here, patience becomes more than a nice quality. It becomes a business tool. The fourth lesson is a local context. If you build a business in another country, you cannot just bring your own logic and expect it to work. You need to understand how people think, how they make decisions, how they communicate, what they trust, what they do not trust, what feels normal for them, and what feels strange. And for business, this is very important, because you do not do business with a country, you do business with people. The lesson number 5 is trust. Trust is everything. Without people you can trust, there is no business. You need to trust your partner, clients, employees, suppliers, accountants, lawyers, the collaborators. And here I want to say something very good about Portugal. In my experience, Portuguese people are often honest and decent. If a person opens up to you, if real trust appears, they can be very loyal and fair. For a rental business, this is especially important, because we rent expensive equipment, cameras, lenses, light and sound. If you build this business in a place with a lot of fraud, of high crime, it becomes very difficult. But in Portugal, most local clients we worked were very honest. Of course, problems happen. They happen in every business, but overall the level of trust here is one of the reasons why this type of business can exist. And I really value that. So Portugal taught me a lot. A beautiful place, a good idea, and the talent are not enough. You also need patience, structure, local understanding, and people. And most importantly, you need to become more than your profession. I came here as a filmmaker, but business forced me to become a little bit of everything. A marketer, a manager, a negotiator, a student, a problem solver, and sometimes just a person who carries heavy cases and answers messages at midnight. This is not always fun, but this is real growth. So after all, the question is, was it worth it? For me, yes. 100% yes. Not because it is easy, not because everything worked the way I expected. It was worth it because we already built something real. We are not a zero anymore. Now I'm also learning how to build without destroying myself, how to work hard and still have a life. How to grow without burning out, how to stay ambitious without becoming empty inside. This is not easy, but this is a part of the journey. As an entrepreneur, I still think about other markets. Maybe one day we will work more with other countries. Maybe there is a big opportunity somewhere else. But right now, I still feel that we have space to grow here. Portugal is small, but for us it's not finished. There is still room here, people to meet, projects to create, mistakes to make, and many things to learn. So yes, it was worth it. Not because the dream was exactly true, but because the reality became meaningful. And this brings me to the future, because today a filmmaker cannot only wait for clients. I really believe this. This is one of the reasons why I started this YouTube channel. I do not want to only wait until someone gives me projects. I want to build something that belongs to me, a space where I can share my experience, meet people, and grow my personal brand. And right now this feels more important important than ever because AI is changing everything. And honestly, I feel very inspired that the growth of our business happened at the same time at the rise of artificial intelligence. It feels like a crazy coincidence, but also like a huge opportunity. For a small business, AI is almost unfair. In a good way. Before, if you wanted to build a serious company, you needed more people. Now, with AI, one small team can do much more. It can help you write text, translate messages, improve business email, build website, plan content, analyze competitors, organize tables. It is like having extra intelligence next to you. Not magic, not perfect, but very powerful. Sometimes it feels like I have a small team in my pocket. And this is unbelievable. For a small business, this can change everything, because the biggest problem in the beginning is always resources. You do not have enough money, people, time or knowledge, and suddenly AI gives you leverage. It doesn't solve everything. You still need taste, judgment, responsibility and the real understanding of your business. But it makes you faster, much faster, and speed is a huge advantage. This is why I feel that learning AI is not optional anymore for business owners, filmmakers, creators, freelancers, or anyone who wants to stay relevant. And for filmmakers, this is huge. AI will change pre-production, editing, concept art, storyboards, scripts, translation, dubbing, advertising, and the way clients make decisions. Maybe it will even change what clients need from us. This is exciting, and honestly, it is also frightening, because the speed of life is already intense. When I moved to Portugal in 2022, I thought I was moving to a new country, but now in 2026 I understand that I was also moving to a new version of myself. 4 years is now such a long time, but when I look back, it feels like another life. The person I was 4 years ago and the person I am now are almost not the same person. I think if I met myself from that time, I would probably have trouble recognizing him. Immigration, adaptation, a new language, a new culture, business and responsibility all change you. And now AI is changing everything again. And these things came together at one point in my life. And honestly, I have never felt such big changes in such a short time. I started a YouTube channel. This alone is still a little crazy to me. The idea that I can speak here in English and maybe someone will find it useful or interesting, this still feels strange. So yes, Portugal wasn't only a beautiful dream, it was also bureaucracy, stress, waiting, documents, a small market, hard work, mistakes and many uncomfortable lessons. But it also gave me a new life, a business, a studio, a team, a direction, and a reason to keep going. So I will continue this journey. I will keep building the business, fighting with bureaucracy, learning Portuguese, learning AI, and developing as a filmmaker. In this vlog, I will talk more about filmmaking, gear, studio life, creative business, AI, immigration, mistakes, and everything that happens when you try to build something from zero in a new country. And if you are also at the point where you feel that you need to do something, maybe this is the sign. Do not wait for the perfect moment. It may never come. Do not wait until you know everything, because you will never know everything. And do not wait until you feel completely ready, because you will probably never feel completely ready. Start, learn, adjust, and continue. This is the best advice I can give after these 4 years. If you feel that you need to act, act. The world is moving too fast to sit forever and only think. Of course think, plan, be careful, but at some point you need to move, because maybe there will not be a better moment. Maybe the moment is now. If this story resonates with you, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, write a comment. Tell me what you are building, what you are changing, or what you are afraid to start. Your support at the beginning of the channel is very important to me. My name is Max Golov. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.